We're pulling up right here. So I planted some sawtooth acorns last year, and so far none of them have made it. They're about $20-$30 a piece, so I'm a little bit aggravated. Some of you are thinking, well, you didn't give them enough water. Well, you didn't fertilize them, or you planted them the wrong time of the year. I don't know what the answer is, but I'll tell you what it ain't. It's mother freaking deer rubbing on them, and they're killing them. That's a heck of a problem to have, ain't it? That is a buck scrape. It's early November, early rut, man. Oh God, that was my shit. But you can tell a deer has been down in here rubbing that, and right there is where I shot that big deer a few weeks ago. I mean, it's 100 yards from here. Deer had been in here kicking around some dirt, scraping on my sawtooth oak tree. But I kid you not, I've planted 3 of them, and all 3 of them's got scrape marks on them. There ain't another tree out here in the open. Look, this is the only tree I planted on the edge of this little creek bed. That pine tree, my house. There's not another tree in this field. So, that might be something to look into, guys. Sawtooth oak tree getting rubbed on out here in early November. I'll tell you this, it was 70 degrees yesterday, and it's 40 today, so it's weird weather in Alabama. But, bet y'all wasn't expecting that, but let's go for it. First buck's rubbing on trees, I ain't gonna hate it too much, other than what it costs to plant them things. So, stick with me. I appreciate you guys. Forgive me, I didn't have to bring my stand. I never do. Seem to always forget it. But undo my belt and talk to the boss for just a second. It's youth weekend right now, and we're on our private property here, so ain't nobody around here hunting, so we know we're not out here bothering nobody. And so got him my antler shed shooting house. It's a 5x8. It's pretty nice little shooting house. I got my dog right here following me around. Say hey, Waylon. He's a good one. He's a little camera shy. So anyway, what I got here. Every year we've hunted out of this shooting house, and we've always seen deer, but we've never seen bucks out of the shooting house. Really don't know the answer. Still don't know the answer, other than every time we come to the shooting house, if you look down that field, you would think this is absolutely perfect scenario, but I assure you it's not. So I was excited when I bought this thing. I put it out here, and you see my field, it goes around both sides, and I was like, man, if a deer comes in this side of the country, it's gonna get seen and potentially shot. So I put it here simply because you could see everything. So I thought, when you can see everything in deer hunting, the deer can see you, I assure you. And if they can't see you, they're gonna go where they can smell you. So this right here is to that big oak tree right there you see. I call them the twin oaks. There, let me see if I can see my finger. Them 2 trees right there. My finger out of the way. Right there in the middle of the screen, you see those 2 oak trees. I call them the Twin Oaks, just easy reference. And they're 116, 119 yards away from the shooting house right here. I've shot deer down there. I've shot a couple of does over the years right there. And right over here, there's this big oak tree right there is, that's where everything comes out at. Every deer I've ever seen goes in or comes out right there by that oak tree. And I've seen deer come out of that fence line and look across the field. I've seen deer come across here and there, but every deer I've ever seen has went in or come out right there. They cross. I've seen deer come across right here, across this little spring. And up in this field, I see them cross over in the evenings, come down here, come across, do their thing, or they go in this spring-fed creek and go in the back of that, come out right there in that pocket, and they always go right there where that oak tree is. There's a bunch of scrapes in the woods right there. But with that being said, when I've been in this shooting house here in Alabama where I'm at, it is 99.9% of the time north to south wind. Just like normal. Just like anywhere else probably. Well, guess where north to south is? If them Twin Oaks are south, that must be north. So anytime any deer come up right here about 75 yards on this top of this little ridge, every one of them has stopped, stuck that nose in there, smelt me, and turned around and run in them woods, or run straight across and went down there and got in that behind that oak tree. None of them have ever stopped. So I quit hunting that simply because, man, I got such a nice shooting house. It's carpeted, it's got office chairs in it, got a heater, and it was awesome to come down here and hunt out of that state. But we were getting busted every time we come down here. But it is 1/8 of a mile. No, it's longer than that. It's probably a 1/4 mile. Maybe longer than that. I'm guessing right now, but it's a good walk down here from the house. And that's what we love about it. We get to hunt at home. Who else, that owns their own property that deer hunts and can hunt their own place and be successful? Because we were this year. I killed a 148-inch 15-point buck here that I'd been seeing for years, and right on top of that hill right there towards my house. It goes let me get my hand right. It goes around that way and goes back up to that pine thicket, and that's where that big buck kept coming out. He never come out down here much. I had him on camera a lot down here, but he wasn't harvested here. He was harvested more close to the house. So with that being said, different approach, and I want you guys to listen when I say this. I didn't know how important wind was until I started losing chances at shooting deer. I didn't realize how bad I was making it for myself by spending this kind of money, thinking that you could throw money at something like this and be successful right here. But if you don't park this house in the right spot, and the wind's blowing south right now, so and it's 8 miles an hour, so don't think 120 yards away that your scent is not getting down there and hanging up in them trees right there. And another thing is, me and my wife were sitting here 2 seasons ago. 2 nice bucks come walking right through here, come right across down that hill right there, and as soon as they got to that draw where that water runs, I don't know the technical term for that, but I'm gonna call it a wind funnel. I think they call it wind thermals, maybe, but I'm gonna call it a wind tunnel just for easier to understand. It was a real light wind, and we were sitting in this shooting house, and right when those bucks come down that hill right there were some hay bales out there, but they hadn't got the hay out yet. It was early season. They come down there, and as soon as they got to that spot, my scent was traveling. That light wind was taking my scent right through that wind funnel, is what I'm calling it. And when they got right there, that buck walked down there and put his head down that ground and immediately just went chunk, head up. He backed up. He actually walked backwards, turned around, and went back up the hill and around that and went down in there and went down in them woods, and I never saw them again. So the most important part that I have figured out is the wind. Every time I told anybody about that big deer that was here, they told me, Jim, don't go down there in a bad wind. You're not going to see that deer. Don't do it. I did it anyway, just being hopeful. I seen a couple 8 points. I seen a couple does. Nothing really spooked, so I was like, maybe I'll get lucky. Well, it didn't. Happened. I had to shoot it somewhere else. And when I shot it up the hill up there, the wind was backwards. The wind was blowing out of the southeast back towards the house, and I was able to sneak down there in the woods with the wind in my face, got set up, and killed that deer. That's the only time that I can remember that wind changed, and it worked out. So it worked out for me then, and it was just because I was keeping an eye on it. I had some corn up there, had a feeder up there for the deer, and luckily enough, those bucks come walking out, and I was ready. The wind, I had to study the wind. That's what I'm telling you. So, different approach for this year. Sorry I'm rambling on, but I'm getting to the point. I just heard a gunshot off in the distance. So maybe somebody got lucky on that one. It's youth weekend, so hopeful for the kids. Oh well, he wants to get in that shooting house. So, like I said, north end of the field, south end of the field. The wind is blowing us away. It was a total disaster, totally wrong setup. But I didn't know where else to go. Didn't know what I was doing. I'm not gonna lie about it. So last season, I seen a really nice 10-point on camera several times. And every time we saw him, he was crossing the field on the north side of my property, which is right over here. And if you see that little yellow speck right there at the end of my finger, I'm gonna put my corn on the north side of my stand. Well, it should have been done a long time ago. That's bottom line. I put my corn on the north side. So I'm gonna start baiting the does to go from the south end of the field. It might take me an afternoon hunt to see one, or morning, whenever, it don't matter. It takes a little longer, that's fine. I'll sit in there, I got a heater in there. I'll sit there all day. So I'm gonna get these deer to come around the field. There's a river right behind me, a small river. And I'm gonna get them to come behind me. They're gonna circle around this way, all the way, and they come out the end of there's another spring over there. And find that corn. Or when they get to that side, they're gonna come this way up through this pine thicket where they usually bed anyway. And guess what? They're gonna cross this field, and I'm gonna see them in there, and they're gonna cross over in them woods, and they're gonna go right over there, and they're gonna they're gonna cross over and get to that corn there. And I also referenced the shooting house, south end of the field, over here, right back there in the back, is a little maple tree by itself. And you can't see it, but it's right there where you can, about where my finger's at. But anyway, there's some corn there. So what I did, instead of baiting in the south end of the field, I altered my direction. I offset it. So when the wind is blowing, you're still gonna have to hunt the wind, because when the wind's usually blowing south, sometimes it'll blow southeast. And that goes into that creek bed right here where my wind goes down in that, and that's where they cross. They're smart enough to know when they go in that draw, they can smell whatever's in this field because it's coming down that wind tunnel. Okay, with that, I'm kind of pulling them out of that draw with that corn being up on the hill. I'm kind of pulling them out of that, so they're going to get away from my wind. So they're almost straight west. Actually, that'd be east from right here. So that'd be on the east side of my shooting house. They're straight east over there. So they're going to be out of my wind direction, out of my scent. They're going to be coming from each direction over there. But luckily, if I have a north to south wind, they're going to be checking north to south over there. They're not going to be worried about me over here. They're going to be over there checking north to south. They're going to be scanning that little field over there, trying to come out, and maybe get lucky with that. But the key feature of this story, this is not really instructions. This is a tutorial. I don't know what you want to say. It's not instructions. I'm just telling you what I have figured out, and it's worked. And I know people are like, well, that's stupid. You should have known that when you started hunting. Yeah, you probably should have, but my dad didn't hunt. Had to figure this out. Had to go hunting. I had to start going places with other people and listening and learning, because when you're a kid, where I grew up, if you asked stupid questions, you got told you it's stupid. So you just didn't ask. So you had to figure it out. And that's what we're doing here. And I'm trying to help somebody else that wants to watch this and just see. You've got to hunt the wind. So with that being said, last year, this little patch of woods right here, we seen a little 8-point coming back and forth right here a couple times. So that's, story's over, man. You got to hunt the wind. You got to have proper placement of your shooting hatch. You got to have proper placement of your bait. You don't want a bait where that deer is going to walk right in your scent. So find out where your wind blows all the time. You got to study this property all year long, all winter long. You can hunt it, whatever you want to do, but you've got to figure out every day. Get you a journal. It's November 12th. Write down today in a journal or a calendar, whatever, and write down what the wind done today and what the weather was like today. And next year, next season, when you get to that information, hey, you're going to say, the weather wasn't the same as this last year, and the deer were moving. Well, the weather wasn't the same as this last year, and the deer are moving. Well, during that week or that next 7 to 10 days, try to find in the forecast when them deer were moving last year, the weather that it is now, or next year, but you're looking at reference for last year, to find that 7 to 10 day streak where, hey, the weather's going to be the same within 10 days as it was last year, and the deer were moving. That's when you need to start studying. Maybe go out and put a game camera out. If you can't hunt, put a game camera out to see if you're right. Put something out there or somebody that can monitor that area for you. And the camera's the best thing, because you don't want your buddy out there shooting you deer. So, moral of the story is corn in your bait on your north side. Your scent, the scent of that corn's coming this way. So it's going to be some cover scent. Not really, because they're not really going to give a shit this far away. But cover scent coming this way. But you see all that timber right there? There's probably 2 or 3 acres of timber, and there's spring in the bottom. They're going to be coming out from the river down there, coming right up that branch. Right there, they probably had another gunshot in the other direction. Hope them kids are whacking them. So, sorry it took so long, but I'm rambling. I wanted to talk about it for a few minutes. I got to get my wife on a deer this year. She's been agging me on, so I've got 2 good bucks this year. And so we're going to be hopeful to go ahead and get this started. So appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe. I get on here and ramble. This may be useless to some of you guys, but somebody down the road it might help. But I appreciate the ones that watch, and good luck this deer season. I hope the kids have fun in youth season in Alabama, in north central. I'm in Coleman County, so youth season just started this weekend. So everybody, good luck this season. I've got a Facebook page, Rough Edge Whitetails. It's right here on my hat. And you got to get on there and send me some pictures of the deer that's killed this year. I'd love to see them. We're going to start probably 1st of December, we're going to start a membership box. So we're going to do a t-shirt one month. We're going to send out some hats the next month. I don't know if it'll be this hat. I don't know what we're going to make. We might just come up with a whole new logo. We don't know yet. hit me up on that Facebook page, Rough Edge Whitetails, and let me know if you're interested. We're going to keep it as cheap as we can. We're not going at this to make money. We're going at this to promote the wildlife, promote deer hunting, but as private owned hunts. This is what I'm doing, and doing it for me and my family, and a few close friends that want to come out here and deer hunt with me. But like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time.